Hello everyone, it's Becca from BEKAHBOOKSANDBUJO, and today we are chatting about why I quit bullet journaling and the system I use now to stay organized. So before we talk about why I quit bullet journaling, I just kind of want to talk through my story, my journey of bullet journaling. I first learned of bullet journaling from a mentor. I was taking a class, well, not even a class, but it was just a cohort of sorts, and I was learning with a bunch of other youth directors. I was a youth director right out of college, and I was in a cohort with other youth directors in my region, and we had one main teacher or mentor who was guiding us in our youth director occupations and vocations. That woman who was our mentor was named Julie, and I still remember the day she taught me about bullet journaling. She says, I have this journal, and actually she had a work bullet journal and a home bullet journal, which was kind of interesting. I started off that way actually too. But she told me that she makes a bulleted list of everything she needs to do in the day and checks it off. And then there was this system that you could migrate tasks that if you did not do them one day, you could transfer them to the next day, and it was right up my alley. I love making lists. I love being organized, and so I checked it out. She recommended I look it up on YouTube, or maybe she just told me to look it up on the internet, but it led me to YouTube, and I started watching YouTubers. I watched Elizabeth from Plant-Based Bride. I watched Jess from Joshi Curran. I watched Cindy from Cindy Guterbaldo. Those are the main three, but then there were others like Boho Berry. She was really big back then. This was like 2017, I want to say, because I graduated in 2017, and I think I started my cohort in 17 or maybe in 18, around there. So I went down a huge rabbit hole. I watched videos like crazy. Oh, another one was Sunshine and Stationery. I loved her. She got me into Tombos. Anyway, so I watched videos. I went down this huge rabbit hole of trying to find the best journal for me, the best supplies, markers, pens, what have you. And I probably spent way more money than I should have on the supplies. And I started bullet journaling in, I want to say 2017. I'm going to get my first journal. One second. I found it. It was May of 2018. So I did a lot of exploring in those first few months. Spreads looked crazy. I was really just kind of experimenting with what I wanted in a journal. Here's my first ever bookshelvie. Oh man, so fun. I should look through all of these. I think I have flip throughs of all of my bullet journals on my channel. I will link that playlist down below. But I just really went wild with what I wanted in a bullet journal. And I loved bullet journaling. I mean, I still love it. But I think what I do nowadays has really transformed and changed. Sorry, let's jump back. My brain is all over the place, and I just kind of sat down and started filming this video, so sorry if it seems a little incoherent. But like I said, I started in May of 2018 with my very first bullet journal, and I have used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bullet journals since, and absolutely loved the system. I loved how I could create my own spreads, make whatever kind of spread I wanted so that it could work for me, and yeah, I really, really loved it. But that was in a time where I was working full time. And actually, when I started my journal, I wasn't a mom yet. I didn't have Theodore until 2020. And so I feel like my journal transformed with me. I used it differently when I started having kids. I used it differently when I had different jobs throughout the years. And I think what really changed for me this year was that I went on maternity leave with our third child, with Sylvia. I went on maternity leave in April when she was born, and then I never went back to work. I decided with my husband that I was going to be a stay-at-home mom this year and maybe for a few years, but this fall, when school started, I did not go back to work. Usually when I checked my journal, it was at the beginning of my work day. I would wake up, I would get my kids ready, we'd get out the door, get them to daycare, I would get to work and I would look at my bullet journal. Well, because I no longer go to work, I have not made the time to sit down and look at my bullet journal every day. So I would say that I stopped bullet journaling in July when we moved. I think I hadn't touched my journal from like mid-July until just a couple of days ago. And it's September 13th when I'm filming this. So it had been almost 2 months of me not bullet journaling at all. And I think I lost myself a little bit. I felt so overwhelmed in my brain because I couldn't like write things down and list things out, like do a brain dump every once in a while. Especially with the move, there were so many things to keep track of, and I just didn't write it down anywhere. I kept random notes on my phone. I would try to write things down on random sticky notes, and it just really wasn't working. And so I decided that I needed to come back to bullet journaling, but in a different way. Because I do not really have the time now when I wake up with my kids, get Theo ready for school, and then do school for Mabel and, take care of Sylvia, my 4.5-month-old. I don't have the time to sit down and update my journal like I used to. So I am now kind of doing a weird mishmash of a system. Before, I used to use a bullet journal for my schedule. Like it kept all of my daily plans and weekly plans and monthly plans, yearly plans. It kept everything in this paper planner, basically. But then it was also a habit tracker, a cleaning tracker, a health tracker. I kept track of reading. And then it was to-do lists. And so I have kind of decided in my brain that my bullet journal is no longer going to be a schedule keeper for me. My family recently purchased a skylight calendar, which this is not sponsored in any way, but I really do recommend the skylight calendar. If I have a referral code, I will put that down below if you're interested. I think you get like $20 off, and I'd also get $20. But I love the skylight calendar. It is keeping our family super organized. I love that Willie and I can both add events to the calendar, and we can see everybody's schedule all at once, all at the same place. I love it. I am amazed that I didn't have any sort of shared calendar before the skylight calendar. I know there's Google Calendar. I know you can share calendars on like the Apple Calendar app, but we never did that. I always had my paper calendar, and Willie, I don't know how he kept track of events. Maybe he put them in his phone, but I didn't track that for him. It was me and it was him. But now that our kids are getting older and they are in more activities, there's just a lot to keep track of. So I am tracking all of our scheduled events on the skylight calendar. I am also tracking all of our cleaning habits there, our cleaning routines, I guess more so, because I am trying to stick to a routine where I do certain things on Monday, certain things on Tuesday, and so on. And then the kids are also trying to help me with some of those cleaning routines and habits. So that is also on the skylight calendar because there is a function where you can complete tasks, and then those tasks give you stars, which then you can redeem for rewards. And that has been really helpful for our kids and for me too. I love getting my stars and getting my rewards of painting my nails or going for a coffee date. So the skylight calendar has taken over my bullet journal in a sense. It has taken over the scheduling, and it has taken over the cleaning tracker that I used to have in my journal. But I have started a new journal, and in my new journal, I am keeping track of more like memories. I have a spread where it is, I can't remember what Ryder Carroll, is that his name? Ryder Carroll created the bullet journal method. It's like the vertical monthly where you just have a list of the dates 1 through 30 or 1 through 31 or 1 through 28 or 29 in February. But that's how he originally wanted people to list their calendar events. A lot of people then went to like drawing calendars and just making your own planner basically in a bullet journal. But I went back to this vertical monthly calendar method, and instead of putting events or anything, I just memory keep. So if there was a big event that day, I write it down, or just anything that I want to remember from that day, I put it there. I also have like a running to-do list for the month. I have my YouTube schedule, which is helpful to me, then I am keeping track of habits on one page and some health things, which I know my watch keeps track of all of the things that I'm putting in here, but I love to see it all out in one page, everything that happened that month, for every single day. I don't know if this is making sense, but it makes sense in my head, and that's what matters. I also am continuing to use my reading progress bar trackers, or whatever you want to call them. Here's an example. So each bar is a book, and every day, I'm not going to update it every day, but usually every day I go and update it in Goodreads, and then I can backtrack and log it here. But every day is a different color of Tombow, and I just mark how far I get in the books. And so the bullet that missed up here, I read that in 2 days, because there's 2 colors represented. Does that make sense? Sure. I just like to see the progress I make in a book, and see how long it takes me to read any given book. So I am keeping this. And then lastly, I have just to-do lists. And it's a goal of mine from now on, we'll see if I do it, to look at my journal every single morning. And now that I have it set up, it really shouldn't be that difficult, because all I have to do is open it to the habits page if I want to, mark the habits that I did the day before, usually, because I want to look at this in the morning. I'll put in my health things. It's tracking my sleep, my exercise, my steps, and my screen time. If I want to update the reading page, I can, but then mostly what I really need it for is the task list, the daily to-dos, because I just am having a hard time compartmentalizing everything in my head and keeping track of everything I need to do on a daily basis. So the to-do list, the daily to-do list, is probably going to be the thing that I'm going to rely on most. So, did I quit bullet journaling? Yes, for a time. I quit for about 2 months. And now I am bringing it back into my life, but much differently than I ever did before, because it used to be my daily schedule. But now I have other tools for that. We're going to try that out for now. But I am bringing bullet journaling back for a few main things. For memory keeping, for some tracking. I'm tracking health, habits, and reading. And lastly, for to-do lists. So I hope that this new phase of my bullet journaling life will work for me. Stay tuned, because on Wednesday I will be posting a video that I call my Bujo briefing, where I will be just kind of updating my journals with you. I have a lot of work to do in my reading journal, so we'll see how far we can get. I haven't updated that thing since July. I think I still have July books to add. Ooh, I'm very behind. But then we'll also just walk through my everyday journal and show you how I update that on the regular. So thank you so much for watching this really rambly, chatty video. I just wanted to kind of give you an update on how my bullet journaling life has transformed, because it is in my name, BEKAHBOOKSANDBUJO, and I really do still love the tool of a bullet journal, but I'm going to use it a little bit differently in my new life as a stay-at-home mom. So again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye.